Welcome back to Case Closed Anime Review, episode number 342. Yes, this will be the last video for the evening. I'll probably work on the next anime tomorrow. Yes, so this is basically reviewing episode 1131, Infidelity of Concerns or Triple Collaborations. Hmm. Yeah, so that's pretty much basically the name of the episode. And it pretty much adapts like the rest of chapter 1092 and goes through pretty much the entirety of 1093. So, what happens in this episode? Well, basically, we start with Conan. He gets a phone call from Kobayashi where she explains about the fact that there's a chair that had poison on it. There was poison in three places: the top, the side, and underneath. And they suspect that's where the poison came from. As for who, and of course also some photos and security cam footage. And through all this, basically, Conan kind of figures out exactly who was responsible for this. And thanks to a Yumi Detective show, and of course, her boyfriend's like, Yumi-tan, what have you do? What's up with this? It's like, oh yeah. So, they figured this out about this. So the person responsible for the poisoning last episode was the waitress. Yeah, and apparently the security camera caught her moving chairs, which I'm sure probably manager like, yeah, she's moving chairs. So what? Not much to it at all. So they caught her red-handed, but her reasoning is this: she blames her friends for death of her for driving her boyfriend to suicide. Well, at least drove him to his death. Because the chubby one of the three, after investigating where this, apparently she was dating this band member of this Knights of Heart, which was the band that had the song with the Massey movie they mentioned last episode. She dated one of the band members when they were indie, and then all of a sudden, their relationship got outed and it got negative backlash, so he had to quit the band and start a solo career, which went nowhere. And then he died while he was being drunk. Now, what caused this? Oh, the woman decided to tell this fan of his where Regular Higgins out, and that's where we get the picture from. And she's like, she didn't care who got the poison as long as one of them got it, because what happened to her boyfriend. And I'm like, okay, we get her reasoning, but here's a question I would love to hear the answer to. And this is a question the episode didn't bother to answer, though the whole thing with Triple Collab basically did explain the whole thing with that at the end of the episode. Is why she decided to tell the fan completely by pure random, like, where they're going to hang out spots for her dates. Why she said it is because she just see this thing just randomly walking by her. Yeah. Her motivation for that, I would love to know the motivation for her. Like, was she jealous of the fact that she's dating a popular band member? It's possible, but have you read this episode? And that's what I've alluded to. So, they do reveal the children plan thing. So apparently on the 7th, they're like, oh, get special gifts. And it turns out they want tickets to this concert. Which, of course, basically, the three girls all have a good time. Where the guy's like, okay, whatever. They're just supporting them, not the band themselves. Guy at least gotta say they're very faithful boyfriends. An inspector, a detective, and a Majin dating two uniform officers and a teacher. The inspector is dating a teacher. The plainclothes detective is dating a uniformed police officer, and the Majin is dating the tall one of the three. And here's the thing. That, of course, the reason why he went to Kobayashi because They're both they went both in the same elementary school together. And in the case of why the inspectors hang out with Yumi, fellow police officers. The Majin, well, because basically Nico is Yumi's partner, so that's the reason for it. It's a shame that Sato couldn't reappear after that one brief cameo. Sadly, it's not a terrible episode per se, but I do have something to say about basically next episode. It's not coming up this coming Saturday. Nope. Once again, we're taking another week off. I would love to know the reason why that up until fairly recently, like, they've had occasional days off. Like, there was one time, I think, like, a few months ago, it was basically the whole episode for a freaking month. And now it's like, okay, so we have to take a week off, we air a new episode, and then take another week off in their episode? What the heck is up with this? I have no freaking idea why in the world. Oh, and here's the thing. Is it a canon episode? Nope. It's an anime original episode. And it's a sequel to an episode that came out a year ago. And you're like, really? Yes. It's a sequel filler episode. One of several they've had of these over the years. And it's a sequel to a filler episode focused on Michio. Yep. By the way, there's actually one canon case they still haven't covered yet in the anime. Yes, for some reason they have not covered it. I don't know what the reason is. In case you're curious, though, like, what was the reason for So what's the missing case? Because lately they've been like up until fairly recently they've adapted cases in order. Now we're adapting cases out of order. I don't know what is the reason for this. It is quite baffling to me. The fact that because that's what it's been for the longest time. Yeah, where they just adapt cases in order. Because that's the strange thing about this. Like, it appears the cases that were released 2 years ago, it's like, ooh, let's adapt these cases out of order. Let's adapt, because we started off with Watari's date book, Watari Date's Notebook, which aired back in January, that one. And then, for some reason, they went with a marriage partners searching murder case. They put that one next. For reason I explained this subject, that was not the next case. That was the privilege case. Which they fixed that 2 months later with that one. And then, like, then they released this one. Just not even 2 months later. So that's a really good question of why in the world they are adapting cases out of order. Yeah, I don't know what the reason for this is. It is quite baffling. Why? Because these cases have a complete random. They decided to just, well, adapt them out of order for reasons. So, my guess is, and this is just a theory, September we're going to see the adaptation of Detective Play Director Murder Case. Oh, in case you're curious though, how many chapters have we got for the manga? If you really want to know, 3, 13, 23, 33, 34, 35, 36. Roughly 38 chapters, so yes, it is obvious that Detective Play Director Murder Case, that's obviously next. but my guess is they probably won't release it December. Because it seems like lately they aired these things like sometimes within like a couple months of each other or like the following month. But who knows? My hoping is that they adapt the Detective Play Murder Records. I hope they do that one next. I'm not. It's like I said, it's baffling that you see of the 4 cases that came out of the Retarded Nate book, like they're adapting these out of order. I would love to know the reason for this. It is so baffling. Well, I'll find out when we get to the next one. Yep. Oh, by the way, there is a 6-part coming up soon called Chest Churn Murder Case. Yeah. Which, love this case. It was fantastic. It was probably by far the longest case in some time for the series. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because some cases lately have been really, really short. Some have been quite lengthy. It is probably one of the more lengthy cases in a while. But yeah, the cases released this year, all been 3-parters. And luckily enough that the very next case, which looks like it's going to be a sequel to Detective Play Director Murder Case. Yeah, it's going to be a sequel to something. It looks like that's going to be the next case. And looks like it's going to be 4 chapters. Interesting. Yes, this is the first one in a while where it's been more than 3. Yeah, I basically have never liked the fact whenever the manga's only released 3 chapters for an arc and then they just claim they're done. Yeah. So, that's pretty much it, particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do hit the like button. So, that's sadly it for the evening because I have to go for bed. And because lately people complain about not having enough sleep lately. So, I'm going to take a shower now and head to bed. And tomorrow, expect reviews for Super Sentai, My Hero Academia, One Piece, Fairy Tail Central Quest, and probably Comic Corner 2. Okay? But to the next video. Bye.